The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. Today we're going to do a flip through of the official Rangers of Shadowdeep fanzine, Star of Alladore. It's illustrated by Barrett Stanley and edited by the game's designer, Joseph McCullough. And the reason I want to share this is just to give you an idea of what miniatures are required. That way you'll know if this is something that you'd like to purchase or if you need to gather certain miniatures to be able to play the scenarios in this book. Star of Alladore has 74 pages in the book, and you could get it from Drive-Thru RPG. It's $21 US for the softcover book, which also includes the PDF. You can get it for less if you just purchase the PDF. It's got an introduction by Joseph McCullough, and then it's just got a ton of scenarios, and two of these are two scenario missions that you could play. So the first one is Treason in Talus. It's a one scenario mission for low-level rangers. And the miniature requirements for this is 2 civilians, a nobleman, 4 men-at-arms, and 4 archers. And you can see that it has a illustration of the table setup. In this case, it's a 2.5 by 2.5 foot table. And you've got burning buildings along the edges. You have a river with a footbridge, some barricades, and a palace gate. And so if you have the Battle Systems Fantasy Village set with the ruins, you should have all you need to play this, because it's got the road and on the backside it's the river. So that is something I plan to use when I do play the scenario. And then of course it has all of the events and a nice illustration right here. Each scenario comes with a challenge level. So the next scenario is also a one scenario mission for level 0 rangers called To Help the Sick. For this mission, you'll need the following miniatures, which is 4 plague doctors, 10 plus zombies, or here in the scenario it just calls them undead because you can use skeletons as well, a civilian, and 3 to 4 wolves. This scenario too also uses buildings in a circle with a pool in the middle, or a well or something to that effect, with some trees and clue markers. I love the black and white illustrations in this game. We have the events, another challenge level, and the bestiary. So you can see you have a lot of NPC type characters. And the next one is the Baleful Tower, which is a 2 scenario mission for level 10 plus rangers. The miniature requirements for this is 6 plus wolves, 6 plus skeletal knights, 2 or more giant snakes, 2 or more large alpha wolves, a troll, and a chimera. So scenario 1 is called the Baleful Tower. As you can see, it's a wilderness type setting, trees, shrubbery, boulders, and in the corner you have the tower there. So again, some basic terrain that a lot of us miniature wargamers have as far as terrain. The second scenario is a dungeon setup, as you can see. In which, of course, this includes the bestiary as well for this mini mission. It has magical items as well, including the Potion of McCullough's Elixir. Then it has a section of new rules from the shadows, new stealth rules, and a stealth scenario. So this has rules on sneaking, sneaking and deployment, sneaking and group activation, sneaking in rough terrain, detection and alarm, ambushing, ambushing from range, and 2 new heroic abilities, which includes Ranger's Signs and Ranger's Influence. The Ranger's Signs is kind of neat rule because it models what happens in real life. Infantrymen, they use hand signals to be able to communicate with each other because the noise of the battlefield, or if you're in stealth mode, you need to be able to move silently. And so I think that's kind of a new rule that's really cool that I want to try out. So the scenario associated with this, as you can see, is called Rescue Mission. And we have more buildings here with trees, a road going through the middle. This requires 10 gnolls, a gnoll sergeant, a gnoll shaman, and 5 civilians to play. Again, we have the challenge level. Lastly, we have the Evacuation. This is a repeatable mission for Rangers levels 1 through 5. The miniatures needed for this is quite a few actually, which is 9+ zombies, a ghoul fiend, a ghoul flinger, 3 ghouls, a troll, a burrow worm, a darkroot body plus 5 darkroot vines, 4 wolves, 2 gnoll sergeants, 5 gnoll fighters, 2 gnoll archers, 2 giant snakes, 6 or more villagers / civilians, 2 carts, / caravans, a rogue, and an ogre. For the first scenario, you can see the setup here with the trees. It's on a 3x3 table, the pathway, and on one corner you have the caravan with the civilians as they try to make their way to safety. That takes place, like I said, on a 3x3 table. So it's got trigger marker events, clue markers, the events table, and the second scenario, the campsite, which takes place on a 2-foot by 2-foot table. And so you can see it has the carts, a fire, and these represent, say, a low wall, and then surrounded by trees and rocks. So it looks like it's a pretty dense setup there. And this is a real creepy illustration here. You've got Noel carrying away 2 babies. Finally is the Curse of Aventin's Sword, which was written by Joseph McCullough. And this piece was in response to an exchange with someone that was on the Rangers of Shadow Deep Facebook page. So this is the sword that was recovered in the core rulebook, the campaign. And this just gives the backstory of the sword, because if you recall, you had to give the sword back. You couldn't keep it. You had to give it back to the kingdom. And it talks about the curse of the sword here as well. So in all, this is a really neat fanzine. I hope there's more, and if so, I plan to get it on the table as I do this one. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.